information. He also pioneered initiatives that strengthened Ghana's modern military capabilities, including the establishment of the Army Special Operations Brigade and the Ghana Armed Forces Unmanned Aerial Systems, that's a drone training and production program. His outstanding service has been recognized with numerous honors and medals from the Ghana Armed Forces, ECOWAS, and the United Nations. Beyond his military achievement, Major General Essien remains deeply committed to his alma mater, currently serving as the chairman of the Board of Trustees of the GAA Accra chapter, and continues to provide exemplary leadership in support of the Gsts Alumni Association. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in warmly welcoming a distinguished giant, an exceptional leader and patriot, Giant Major General Matthew Kweku Essien, retired of the 84-86 year group, to deliver the keynote address. Thank you.
Do it better, do it better. Do it better for him, do it better. Oh, you can do it better. Let me hear you doing it better for him.
Mr. Chairman, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please permit me to stand on the protocol that has been well established by previous speakers so that I can make my delivery. Some 47 years ago, I entered GSTS. And after 7 years, I left. And later on in my career, I realized that the time spent here has shaped me. GSTS is a good training area. And therefore, I will encourage our students here to learn very hard. I've been given a topic to speak on today. A topic that is very relevant to all of us, and it is developing resilient leaders through science, technology, and character. Field Marshal Montgomery, British Army, World War II, made a profound statement, and I want to quote it here. He said, "The beginning of leadership is the battle to win the hearts and minds of men," unquote. This is very profound because leadership is centered around human beings. As a member of the Ghana Armed Forces Special Forces fraternity, there are certain things that we cherish so much. And I just want to mention two. And it is something that every special force operator is taught. The first one is that humans are more important than hardware. Humans are more important than hardware. And the second is quality over quantity. So let's keep this in mind. It is a privilege to stand before you today on GSTS 117 Founders Day lectures to reflect on a question that lies at the heart of leadership in our time. The question is, how do we cultivate leaders who can endure, adapt, and inspire in the face of rapid change? How do we cultivate leaders who can endure, adapt, and inspire in the face of rapid change? The answer, I believe, is not found in a single discipline or a momentary spark of charisma. It lies in the deliberate integration of science, technology, and character. The triad that empowers leaders to diagnose problems with clarity, implement solutions with precision, and act with integrity even when the stakes are highest. First, let us acknowledge the seismic shifts that define contemporary leadership. We inhabit an era of exponential technological advancement, data-driven decision-making, and complex global challenges that require collaborative intelligence. Ladies and gentlemen, climate change, public health, cybersecurity, and social equity demand answers that are both technically sound and socially responsible. In this landscape, resilience is not merely a mood or a set of routines. It is an operating system of leadership, an architecture for enduring effectiveness that can withstand uncertainty and still drive progress. Science teaches us to observe, test, and learn. It compels humility in the face of uncertainty and courage to revise our beliefs in light of new evidence. The scientific mindsets, which are curiosity, skepticism, rigorous methodology, and reproducibility, provides a shared language for problem solving that transcends departments, institutions, and borders. When leaders adopt this mindset, they create teams that value evidence over ego, that welcome constructive critique, and that pursue truth even when it is inconvenient. Science trains resilience by making failure a data point, not a verdict. A failed experiment becomes a stepping stone towards a more robust theory, a stronger product, or a more effective policy. Ladies and gentlemen, technology amplifies our capacity to act. It extends our reach, accelerates learning, and enables collaboration at scales previously unimaginable. Yet, the most transformative technology is not the gadget itself, but the disciplined way in which it is used, ethically, inclusively, and with a clear sense of purpose. Leaders who harness technology with a human-centered lens recognize that tools are means, not ends. They safeguard against automation simply for efficiency. They pursue automation to free human potential for meaningful work, creative problem solving, and empathic leadership. Resilience here means staying anchored to core values while innovating boldly, ensuring that progress serves people, not the other way around. The late Billy Graham made a statement about character, and he said, and I quote, "When wealth is lost, nothing is lost. When health is lost, something is lost. But when character is lost, all is lost," unquote. Ladies and gentlemen, character provides the moral compass and the social glue that keeps teams functional under pressure. In times of crisis, algorithms and dashboards can tell us what is happening. Character tells us why it matters and how we choose to respond. Courage without compassion hardens into rigidity. Kindness without discernment can become indecision. The resilient leader integrates courage, integrity, empathy, and accountability into daily practices. This is not an abstract ideal, but a concrete discipline. Setting boundaries, owning mistakes, giving credit to others, and choosing the harder right over easier, convenient path. Character is the ballast that stabilizes actions when data and technology generate conflicting signals, or when the noise of competing interests threatens focus. To develop resilient leaders through this triad, I propose 3 interlocking commitments. First commitment, cultivates a science-minded curiosity. A resilient leader treats uncertainty as an invitation rather than a threat. This begins with framing problems clearly, asking the right questions, and seeking evidence relentlessly. It means building diverse teams with complementary strengths, because resilience thrives in environments where dissent is welcomed and where ideas are tested against reality rather than defended as sacred. It also requires disciplined experimentation, small iterative tests, rapid feedback loops, and then the willingness to pivot when data indicates a better path. As leaders, we must model this behavior, documenting hypotheses, sharing learning, and celebrating the courage to admit when our initial assumptions were incorrect. By embedding a culture of inquiry, we inoculate organizations against stagnation and prepare them to respond decisively when conditions change. Second commitment, embed ethical technological stewardship. Technology can empower or erode trust, depending on how it is deployed. Resilient leaders recognize that choice is foundational to leadership narratives. They ask not only can we develop this capability, but also should we? And what are the implications for individuals, communities, and then the environment? This ethical lens must guide every phase of a project: design, deployment, evaluation, and iteration. It demands transparency with stakeholders, fairness in impact assessment, and accountability for unintended consequences. Moreover, it calls for inclusive innovation, ensuring that voices from diverse backgrounds are heard and that technologies do not exacerbate disparities, but rather help close gaps. A leader who prioritizes ethical stewardship builds legitimacy and trust, which are pivotal when crisis arrives and leadership is tested. The third commitment, practice character-driven leadership in every decision. Character is the accumulation of small acts performed consistently over time. It shows up as integrity in data handling, empathy in team interactions, resilience in the face of setbacks, and responsibility when outcomes affect others. In moments of high pressure, character keeps teams coherent. It clarifies priorities, honors commitment, and fosters accountability. Leaders grounded in character cultivate failures where people feel safe to voice concerns, where mistakes become learning opportunities, and where success is measured not only by outcomes, but by fairness of the journey. The deliberate cultivation of character through reflection, feedback, mentorship, and a clear personal code ensures that resilience is not a performative attribute, but a durable property of the organization. Ladies and gentlemen, as we aspire to develop resilient leadership, it is essential to translate these commitments into practical habits and structures. Here are actionable steps that institutions, teams, and individuals can adopt. At the institutional level, create interdisciplinary programs that fuse science, technology, and ethics. Encourage cross-departmental collaboration for real-world projects with clear value propositions for communities. Provide ongoing professional development in critical thinking, data literacy, and responsible innovation. Establish governance frameworks that integrate ethical review with rapid experimentation so that learning and accountability proceed hand in hand. At the team level, implement decision rigors. So before any major moves, we need to look at what our hypotheses are: a plan for data collection, a risk assessment, and a contingency strategy. Conduct regular reflection sections after milestones to extract lessons and adjust. Promote psychological safety so every member feels empowered to challenge assumptions and contribute diverse perspectives. At the individual level, cultivate a personal leadership covenant. Define your values, your non-negotiables, and your commitment to ethical technology use, and inclusive leadership. Practice deliberate humility. Seek feedbacks from peers, mentors, and communities you serve. Develop a habit of continuous learning. Read broadly across disciplines. Engage with scientists and engineers, and translate technical insights into accessible narratives that inspire actions. And gentlemen, let me share a brief memory that crystallizes these ideas. When I was appointed as the Director General, Defense Communications and Information Systems of the Ghana Armed Forces, I embraced a bold decision and a vision to integrate drone technology into the operational and strategic fabric of the Ghana Armed Forces. It was a mission born of necessity and fueled by the promise of heightened situational awareness, safer operations, and smarter decision-making at all levels of defense and national security. The early days were defined by skepticism and constraints. Convincing the military system to buy into a disruptive technology required more than a compelling slide deck. It demanded a tangible demonstration of value, a clear roadmap, a commitment to long-term capability development. We face a lot of obstacles. One was funding gaps, and this restricted procurement, testing, and sustained maintenance. We also had infrastructure shortfalls that hampered flight operations, data processing, and secure communication. Last but not least, we also had human resource gaps. Finding and developing the right mix of engineers, pilots, analysts, and cyber specialists capable of designing, deploying, and sustaining drone-enabled capabilities. Despite these hurdles, we pursued a deliberate iterative approach. We built partnership, leveraged our pilot programs, and embedded drone operations into existing defense workflows to illustrate immediate benefits while laying the groundwork for scalable capability. The emphasis was on governance, safety, and interoperability, key pillars that ensure confidence from leadership and users alike. Today, as I speak, that initial effort has matured into a robust capability that extends beyond defense. We have established a drone production line, turning a strategic asset into a national capability. The work now supports the Ghana Armed Forces with reliable, field-ready area systems